Another day, another major escalation of tensions caused by U.S. actions. The recent downing of a Syrian jet by U.S. F-18 Super Hornet is just the latest installation in a series of U.S. provocations in Syria since Donald Trump took office in January. The non-interventionist commander-in-chief has continued and expanded the wars launched by previous U.S. leaders, as Trump has essentially given the military carte blanche to do whatever it wants, from using white phosphorus in Iraq and Syria to sending thousands of troops to Afghanistan. The U.S. military machine remains completely out of control. But why did an American fighter jet shoot down a Syrian warplane? The U.S. is operating illegally in Syria. Syria is an ally of Russia. Russia responded furiously to the illegal U.S. action, and it is being seen as an act of war. The sanctions, which are also taking place now, are also being described as an act of war. So is it any surprise that the United States Air Force is testing an ICBM in California, and this is the fourth test this year? Also, a Navy commander said he is ready to nuke China for Donald Trump if asked. Prominent veterans, including Vietnam War John McCain, have criticized Trump in the wake of a decision to ban transgender people from serving in the U.S. military. But the head of the largest fleet in the U.S. Navy, Mr. Swift, was quick to swear his loyalty to the commander-in-chief Thursday, to the point that the admiral said he would hypothetically follow the president's orders to launch a nuke at China. Now, keep in mind, the people of China are hearing this. Keep in mind, the people of North Korea are watching flat-screen TVs. It's amazing how they have the flat screen technology, but they're starving. As they watch ICBMs, as they watch simulations of the U.S. mainland being hit. And we're being told on a near daily basis now that North Korea has the ability to nuke the U.S. mainland. Now, this report goes into the fact that the sanctions that have been placed on Russia and Iran, it's actually boosted ties between Iran and Russia. They've been boosting their ties for many years. The Shanghai Cooperation is growing more and more. On June 9th of this year, India and Pakistan both became members of the SCO. The SCO is not just an economic bloc. You're talking about war games. Under the SCO, China and Russia fighting the United States in these war game drills. War game drills now in the Baltics. NATO's there as well. So what the United States doing is deliberately boosting the economy of the East as it was meant to the entire time. From the Ron Paul Institute, the headline reads, North Korea or Iran, where will President Trump attack first? Trump seems to be impatiently racing towards at least one disastrous war, maybe two. The big question is, who will be first? Over the past several days, Trump has sent two nuclear bombers over the Korean Peninsula to send a clear message that he is ready to attack North Korea, which most observers understand will be responded to by China and Russia, more than likely, due to the historical relationship that both China and Russia have with North Korea. On Saturday, he blamed China for North Korea's refusal to cease its missile tests. He tweeted that he's very disappointed in China. That this is not a joke. This is not an act. Well, it is an act. But it's not fake news. This is a part of the rhetoric that's going to take us to war. Oddly enough, today, several fighter jets here in Colorado flew over the residence. One was like maneuvers I've never seen. And this is happening as we see this in the news. World War III, America ready to strike. Live trading news. Further discussing the U.S. flying 12 additional F-16 fighter jets over the Korean Peninsula while making threats to China, while shooting down jets in Syria. And I haven't mentioned this yet either. The Navy has fired warning shots at the Iranian Navy. Okay, so they're going up into the Gulf, as most of you know by now. What if they were to come up into our grill right, or in the Gulf of Mexico, shooting on the Coast Guard, it would be seen as an act of war. So the United States is operating on a self-destructive program. In the future, the United States, our people, there's a reason why also some of those girls might be killing themselves, but there's a world that they're building for us. And the elite, the people that are actually behind these things, they plan to be in some sort of an underground bunker when these things happen. It's not going to be Bush, or rather Putin and Trump boxing it out in a ring. It's going to be something else entirely. Opinion: Putin should thank U.S. for sanctions. Russia and Iran ink $2.5 billion deal. Also, retired Green Beret warns North Korea can deliver a warhead containing an EMP weapon over the U.S. And why do people say this? Is it just fear-mongering? They know that during the past administrations, North Korea was able to get to a certain point. Sometimes the reasons it was because of technology transfers. People like Rumsfeld, Donald Rumsfeld of the Bush administration, 2002 reports, including by Amy Goodman of Democracy Now!, talked about Rumsfeld sitting on the board of ABB and being responsible for North Korea, being able to access these technologies. And that was back then. And we saw a continuation of North Korea building up under Bush and Obama, being aided behind the scenes by China and Russia. It was brought up all these years to be positioned to be this wild card. You know, Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un, America the movie, a big friggin' joke, the crazy Asian man caricature. One crazy Asian man may start World War III. Does this sound sane to you? Or does this sound like an insane in the membrane plot brought to you by the global military industrial complex? And in our next report, our last report of the evening, China tests missiles over the weekend. While the world is conditioned to look only in the direction of North Korea, its ally China is preparing for war with the West. In a brazen broadside to America, China performed a dramatic series of missile tests this weekend, targeting mock United States missile batteries and jets as the superpower flexes its muscles amid global tensions with North Korea and the threat of U.S. intervention. Last week I mentioned that China is developing a very large underground military base in the Horn of Africa, and they've been expanding their UN peacekeeping operations in Africa for a number of years.